Hey, welcome back, my friends. My name is Danny Dumas, and this is the Earn Your Title podcast. In 2005, one of the most iconic Super Bowl commercials was aired. It was the easy button. The easy button was a Staples or Office Depot. I forget. I think it was Staples. And it was basically, they had the easy button to every problem that you could imagine. You know, you run out of printer paper, they had it. And they actually started selling physical easy buttons. And I think a lot of times in our society, we want the easy button for life. We want, if you go on YouTube, you can search like how to hack, how to lose weight, 5 hacks to lose weight, make it easy. You could search, like your marriage is on the rocks. Here's a way to hack your marriage. We're always looking for something easy. And as we approach this new year and we're all making resolutions for 2026, we want something easy. But I'm here to tell you that that is not a thing, because change is hard. Change will always be hard. There's a joke at the fire department, and this is probably around the world. It's probably not just at the fire department, but there's 2 things that people hate: change and the way things are, because we're meant to stay the same. It is biologically imprinted on us to stay the same. Take being fat. If you are currently overweight, it is not a moral failure on your part. It is a biological drive that is keeping you fat. Your body wants this. It wants to stay where it's at, because for a really long time, food starvation was a real thing. Lack of food was a real thing. And our drive to go get food is literally why we're still alive. It's literally why we are not living in caves, in small tribes. It's literally the reason we have dominated this world as the number 1 species, is our drive to eat. And so if you're sitting there like, man, I've tried so many things to lose weight and I haven't been able to do it, it's because it's not easy. Your body wants to be where it's at. Now, you 100% can change. Change is possible, but it's not easy. When I make resolutions, I'm a big goal setter and resolution setter, and I think I've refined it and I've gotten better. But in the past, my resolution for health might look at something like this: I want to hit the 1,000-pound club. The 1,000-pound club is between my bench, my squat, and my deadlift. I want to lift a total of 1,000 pounds. That would be awesome. And in order to do that, I'm going to work out 3 days a week, and I'm going to do cardio 2 days a week. And then the other 2 days, I'm going to play sports on one of those days. I'm going to join a league, and then I'm going to do, stretching and yoga on the other day. So basically, I want to do something every day for 7 days. But I also want to lose a little bit of weight. So I'm going to track all my macros, meaning my protein, my carbs, and my fats. And because I'm trying to hit this 1,000-pound club, I know I need to eat more protein. So I'm going to try to eat 1 gram of protein for every pound of ideal body weight. And because I want to gain muscle, but I also want to lose a little weight, I'm going to do intermittent fasting every day, where I stop eating at 8 o'clock at night and I don't start again until noon. And really, I drink a little too much caffeine, so I'm going to stop caffeine. And I'm a sugarholic, so I'm going to cut out sweets. And I started on January 1st, and it's amazing. I'm killing it. January 2nd, I'm killing it. January 5th, man, I had to have an energy drink because I had a long night at work. And it's someone's birthday, so I'm going to have birthday cake. And I missed the exercise, and I went a little heavier than I should have on my squats, and now my back hurts, so I missed 2 in a row. And then by the January 10th, I'm done. And it's not because I'm an utter moral failure and I lack zero control. It's because change is hard. Change is really hard. I think this is an exciting part of the year, an exciting time of the year where we're wanting to do these great things. And I'm giving you permission to dial it back a little bit and really think about what you really want out of next year. And I think one of our failures is we've gotten into a habit in our society of saying, these are my priorities. Well, priorities is not actually a word. You can have a priority is one. And, just like if I want to hit the 1,000-pound club, I probably can't also try to lose weight at the same time because I'm going to need to gain muscle. And those 2 things kind of don't go hand in hand. Now, can you lose fat and gain weight. Yeah, or you lose fat and gain muscle. You can do that, but they're not in balance. And when you make it both your priorities, it doesn't really work. So what I'm attempting to do today is to give you a list of things that I think are easy, because while I don't think, simple, none of it's easy, but these are simple. And I think this is the strategy of success that I've had, where I've gone after something, but I've done it by trying to get the minimal effective dose. In medicine, our goal when we're giving you some medicine, let's say you break your leg, we're giving you fentanyl. Fentanyl is a drug for pain management. I want to give you the least amount of fentanyl to completely take away your pain or to make you comfortable. If I'm giving you more than that, there's always side effects of more. Like back in the day, we give a lot of morphine. If you give someone too much morphine, they don't breathe as fast. And that can be pretty bad, especially when the breathing goes to zero, right? So you want to give them the least amount of drug that does the most amount of effect. And so I've come up with a list, and I'm going to break this down between fitness, health, and / lifestyle, diet, finances, and your relationships. Because I believe like those are probably the three big categories that we're always trying to improve our life in. And so while I'm saying that I want you to pick a priority, I'm not saying you can't accomplish all the other things. I just think we need to focus on one. For instance, if you said, hey, I really want to become a healthier man, I want to be there for my family, I want to walk my little girl down the aisle. Those are really good things. You can't also say, I want to have an amazing yard. And those are my priorities. I want the outside of my house, I want to look amazing. I want the perfect grass, and I don't want any weeds, and I want to be really healthy, and I'm currently 20 pounds overweight, and I've never worked out. Because what will happen is it's going to come on a Saturday, and you get to decide, I'm going to go for a 2-hour ruck where I'm putting a backpack on, I'm going out in the woods, I'm just going out there, and I'm going to kill it fitness wise. Or I could cut the grass and weed the garden and water it and apply fertilizer. You can't do both of those on a Saturday. If both of those are your priorities, one of them is not going to happen. And if you've set your priority, the first one, as being, I'm going to be healthy and I'm going to be there to play, I'll be able to get on the floor and play with my kids or my grandkids, go for the ruck and just cut your grass. Don't worry about the fertilizer. Don't worry about watering your lawn. You have to pick one thing. Now, cut your grass, right? Because you don't want your HOA to fine you or whatever crazy things that happen. I'm not saying you can't do all the other things, but when you pick a priority, that truly becomes the priority. And you do that first, and you put the most amount of effort. And maybe you go from something that is simple into slightly more complex, right? Because none of it's easy. So here are the list of things that I went through, things that I've done personally that have really helped, that were very simple. So we'll start with fitness. Go for a 30-minute walk every single day for the rest of your life. This has been so beneficial. I walked more last year than I've walked in a really long time. And while it does two things, I think walking, I don't think you'll ever be able to walk yourself skinny. For the most part, weight loss happens in the kitchen. But getting out and putting some physical effort at a moderate pace where you can think is so helpful. I heard a funny quote about a guy that said, I don't argue with my wife, but I do take lots of walks. And I thought that was pretty good, So getting out and working for 30 minutes, get outside and do it every day. And I'm going to talk about things, and I do think you should set goals, the things you can do every day, because ultimately, while these are simple tasks, I want them to become automatic so that when you don't get your 30-minute walk or your 1-hour walk, you're like, man, things don't feel right. I want you to get to the point where you're putting on your shoes to go outside for a walk or to walk on the treadmill, and you're like, I don't even remember making that decision. And in order to do that, I think we need to do that every day, but you're going to incorporate the 2-day rule. I think this is very important. The 2-day rule says you will not miss any of these habits that you've set for more than 2 days in a row, which means I'm planning on walking every single day. But if I don't go, like yesterday, we had an ice storm, and then yesterday it rained all day long, and the roads, my driveway was literally, you could have ice skated on it. It would have been really hard to go for a 30-minute walk yesterday. So I took yesterday off. Today, it's not much better. So maybe today I won't walk, or maybe I have to walk on the treadmill, but on for sure the next day I cannot miss. That's the 2-day rule. So all these things, what I'm saying, do it every day. Do it every day. That's the plan with the 2-day rule in mind. What else could you do? You could work out for one song. Pop your headphones in, turn on your Pandora, your Spotify, go on YouTube Music, listen to a song, and do air squats for that song. And that could be it. That could be your workout for the day. You're doing something to move yourself. Now, if getting fit is your priority, this probably isn't it. But if getting out of debt is your priority, then this is the way to maintain some fitness. Do something simple. When you're watching TV, on a commercial break, do a plank, do a push-ups, pick a different exercise for every commercial. Park as far away as possible from work, from shopping, wherever you're at. Say you can't get out. Say your priorities right now are your wife and kids and having that relationship with them. And you're really spending a lot of time because maybe you've been gone. Well, when you go to the store as a family, park the very last parking spot and walk. Again, not easy to change, but simple tasks can get you there. So health and diet. These are some really good things. Sleep for 1 more hour than you currently are. Now, I would love to say go get 8 hours of sleep. I've prioritized sleep in my life this year, and I feel like I am more clear-headed. I feel really good. Last night, I got 8 hours of sleep, and I feel good. It's an awesome experience. Like having been sleep deprived for a long time, not prioritizing that. When I work a 24-hour shift, I don't get to control that. But when I can control it, I am trying to get 8 hours of sleep, and that's what I'm doing. And I feel good, really good. That being said, if you're currently getting 5 hours of sleep every night, go get 6. I'm not trying to make this complex. Get 30 minutes more. Commit to getting just more sleep, whatever that is. It can really help. When you're trying to lose weight, drinking your calories is pretty rough, but I also understand being addicted to caffeine and to, I call it pop I'm from the Midwest, but soda for probably everybody else is a tough one. So don't give it up. But however much soda or pop you're about to drink, you have to drink that much water before. So if you got an 8-ounce can of Coca-Cola, drink 8 ounces of water. And if you still want the pop, drink it. Again, remember, simple. Not easy, but simple. Track your protein intake, but don't worry about how much you're getting in. Literally just at the end of the day, you should be able to say, I had this number of grams of protein. Now, do you want to get 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight? Absolutely. But I found that just the simple thing of tracking can really make you eat more protein or less food. But it's not everything, right? It's not fat, it's not carbs, it's just protein. I think it can be very helpful. This is one super easy on the health side or the diet side. When you go to eat, grab the small plate. The last one you can do, and this one is effective, and I am terrible at it, is to set a timer when you start eating for 20 minutes, and you can't be done with your food until the timer goes off, which means you have to eat slower. I eat so fast. It's not good. When I was a younger fireman, we had 3 different types of trucks we ride on: rescues, engines, and ladders. The rescues were the busiest. The engines were slightly busier, or slightly not as busy as the rescues, but still pretty busy. And the ladder, you didn't go on very many calls. You only went on fires and big car accidents. And so we would have different speeds. When you're on the rescue, you sat down and you put the food in your face as fast as possible, because the odds of you sitting through an entire meal were almost 0. Well, I never got out of rescue speed. I'm just shoveling it in. So slow down. This can make a big difference in the chemicals in your body. As your stomach stretches, it sends chemicals that said, hey, I'm full. But if you're eating so fast, you don't get those chemicals fast enough, and you can overeat. That's like when you eat fast and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I feel terrible. Well, the chemicals finally cut up into your brain, and then it signaled that you're full. Well, you were over full. So slow down. Another area in my life and many people's life is our finances and business. The curse of debt is tough. Coming out of the holiday season, you might be facing these credit card bills that you just didn't plan on. Again, if this is your priority, you can do more than this. But it's not, if it's not, and you're just trying to do a little bit better, these are some easy things you can do. And this is very helpful, the 24-hour rule. Any non-essential purchases that are over a set number, $30, $50, you should wait for 24 hours before you click the buy now button. The Amazon is amazing. We have an Amazon fulfillment center in the city that I work in. They're currently delivering with drones. We can watch them fly all day long. If you live within 7.5 miles of that facility and the item you're ordering is less than 5 pounds, they will put it in a drone, and within 90 minutes of you clicking on the button, it will be at your house. That is amazing. I feel like we're finally living like in the Jetsons, like we've made it, but it makes it so easy to overspend. So if it's a non-essential item, now if you're at your house, what does that mean? What is non-essential? If you're at your house and there's no toilet paper and your car's, there's not a car home, order some toilet paper, have it delivered to your house, right? That's important, but non-essential. You need a new set of, AirPods. Wait. You can't currently find your favorite pocket knife and you've been looking for an hour. Give it 24 hours. Maybe it's probably another pair of pants that you need. So just wait to spend on the discretionary income. Spend cash on groceries, eating out, and fun. I find those categories are extremely easy to overspend on, and having the money in my pocket and watching it go away really changes the way that I interact. And it's easy. Just go to the bank, figure out what your budget is for eating out, put that in your pocket, and wait. We joke at work that when you're younger, if you had a $20 bill, you keep a $20 bill in your pocket for a really long time. Well, now because of inflation, it's the $100 bill. The $100 bill seems if you keep your $100 bill in your pocket, you can keep it for a long time. But as soon as you turn it into 20s and 10s and 1s, it's gone, right? So by paying cash, it kind of hurts a little more. It slows your spending down. If you're trying to get out of debt, one thing that I like to do is automate my debt payments, where I'm taking a little bit extra out, I'm putting it into an account, and then when it builds up to a certain amount, like $1,000, then I pay the debt off, and it feels good to have that debt gone in big chunks. If you're trying to save for something, vacations, I really enjoy taking vacations. So what I do, I have a side job where I teach at the fire academy. I have that money deposited into a credit union, and I don't have a debit card associated with that account. So when I'm working, that paycheck, I don't need it for day-to-day operations. It goes into that account, and in order to get it, I have to physically drive to the bank, talk to a teller, and have them give me the money. That's been very helpful. I've just made it simple, right? It's not easy, but it's simple. The last area that I think that's important and a lot of people want to make a priority is your connections with your family, your relationships. And I think this is really important. If you've been hitting it hard, you're out of debt, you're making good money, you're healthy, and you're not working on your relationships with your wife and your kids and your family, don't neglect this one, because of all the things, you can go make more money. You can't make more time with your kids. You can't recreate the moments that you missed because you're doing all these other things. Now, is there a time to hustle? Absolutely. Is there a time to go work nonstop to get out of debt so your family can enjoy vacations, enjoy time together? 100%. But if you've accomplished those things, get off that wheel of grind and spend time with your family. So what can you do? Make sure you hug your wife. There was a study out that a 6-second hug can release enough oxytocin to significantly lower stress and boost bonding. So give your wife a non-sexual hug. The hug's not going anywhere. Embrace her. Grab a hold of her before you go to work and just hold her. It's important. Ask questions about their day. It's very easy to get into the business side of marriage where it's who's doing this, who's doing that, and it's just busy. Spend some time and just ask, hey, what do you got? What's on your plate today? And then listen. And then how can I help? Really, it's simple. It's not always easy, right? It's easy to get wrapped up in your own mind, but try to make a time every day to make that happen. Do something that's randomly grateful, randomly interactive with your community. Every day, send a text to somebody that you haven't talked to in a while, asking them how you're doing. Let them know you're thinking about them, and let them know you appreciate them. It's it's easy to forget that, but that's not a hard one, right? That's simple. Just send a text. And while I think this is a little maybe productive hacky, a little bit, you're trying to be productive. You could sit down on Monday and schedule your text Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday of people, and write it all out in a 20-minute session, and then it will go out to them. Now, is that as thoughtful? No. But if that's what you got to do to be show up for your family and your friends, do it, man. That's the hack, right? Make it simple. When you come home from work, put your phone away, stick it in a drawer, and give your family some undivided attention where you're not checking email. You just spent the whole day there. Now, if you got to later on, you got a project to do, I get it, but be observant of what you're doing when you do have that time with your family. A lot of times if you're working outside the home, you can feel kind of disconnected from your family where you show up and they already have everything going on. And for me specifically, I miss whole days. I miss 24-hour, chunks of time, and my family's living without me. And sometimes I get into it and they're doing their thing and I'm not a part of it. And I feel like I'm missing out a little bit. But then I also know sometimes that I get home and I've got my phone, I'm staring at my phone, my kids and family are all doing something and I'm not engaging because I'm looking at my phone, and that's not what I want to do. So take your phone, put it away. And I think that can be important. So how do you incorporate all this? I would figure out your life goals, your life categories, things you want to improve in, and pick something very simple in every category and attempt to do that and do it for so long that you don't have to think about it anymore. Weight loss is a big thing for the first of the year. And if that's your priority, then maybe you can pick 2, but don't pick more than 2. Because especially if you're very out of shape or very overweight, it doesn't take a lot to lose that initial weight. I will say, if you have got 100 days to lose weight and you've got to lose 20 pounds, you will lose 10 pounds really fast. And like the first maybe, 30 or 40 days. And then it slows way down for the second half. And that's okay. Keep at it. Just simply, replacing water for soda could make you lose 2 pounds. If you're losing consistently, just doing that, just do that. So make life easy for you by doing the simple things. Don't make if your New Year's resolution page is 12 pages long or even a whole page long, take off most of that stuff. Find the simple things in each category. Maybe you get 2 things on the priority, the one that you're going to attack, and go after it and make 2026 the best year ever. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. I can't wait for 2026. I've got lots of awesome things planned. I will see you next year. Have a great day. Bye.